Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I am excited because I finally finished the test of Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro 2025 edition. It's a long name, big statement maybe, but I made the measurements test like I always do. So you need to spend time to understand if you're going to buy this projector. I made it dedicated section for who is this projector for, positives, negatives, and the measurements of light output, latency, and the screen size from what kind of a distance, and of course the capabilities of sRGB, Adobe RGB, the contrast ratio, power consumption, and every bit of detail. And right now what you're seeing is a 120-inch image on a white wall, probably for a budget solution, and 65-inch TV on this side. I'm going to connect, by the way, I already did. You're going to see it in a dedicated section, 65-inch TV and also Mozart 1 Pro 2025 side by side. So this will be also a comparison whether you want to buy a budget-friendly projector or a 4K TV. It's up to you. Always, I'm going to teach you as much as you should know, and then you're going to be able to make your own choice. So without further ado, this is not going to be a short video, but since I've excluded the full audio or speaker test of the Mozart 1 Pro 2025, you can check that out in the description around the corner and in the description, maybe in the fixed as a comment. So you can check. But in the beginning, I want to make clear there will be a dedicated discount code. If you use it, you're going to get an additional discount and you're going to help the channel to grow and get some income out of the videos. But my opinions are my own, as always. Even though this is a sponsored video, they send me the projectors for review. So why not take a look at what it can do until the edge of it? Like, I'm going to get close. You're going to see the sharpness, image uniformity, brightness uniformity. I'm going to talk about all the things that you need to know because you're going to pay, for considerably budget-friendly projector, you're going high on the budget. So you got to learn before you buy. Without further ado, let's dive into Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro 2025. Let's start it. I said we were going to begin the video, but I thought to myself, I'm going to make the full conclusion in the beginning like many of my videos. So you're going to witness this Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro right here and have a clear idea. But this video won't be short videos. So like I told you in the beginning, I'm going to tell you my conclusion, my test results in the beginning, and you're going to see the full specs on the screen. But that doesn't mean that you should skip the video pieces, because if you want to buy this thing, you got to see it in the real time. I'm going to explain a lot of stuff in the beginning. First of all, there's a video light is on, as you can see me clearly. Even that shows quite a bit of good contrast at the scale of 120 inch. So it's not a coincidence that this device really declared on a budget-friendly good solution list of projectors. So in the beginning, I want to talk about the measurements that I've done. They declare this device as a 1200 NC lumen projector, but on my test in the standard mode, I've achieved about 440-ish lux or NC lumen. Basically, NC lumen is the right term, and the bright mode makes it about 688 to 690. We can call it 700 depending on where you measure things, but roughly 690 to 700 is the right value. So the real brightness, that is a usable brightness, what I'm talking about, because you can measure a projector by pushing the brightness till the edge, and you can shift the colors, you can lose the contrast, and you can have better brightness. But I am not focusing on that. I'm talking about real usable limits, because even if you have Epson or ViewSonic, like about $2,000 and $3,000 level, when you put the brightest mode on, everything shifts to yellow or gray or greenish color, and you don't want to use it like that. So many projectors tend to declare the highest level of brightness, but that is just for scenarios that you're going to use it outside or a lit environment. So it's not a cinema dedicated measurement. That's why it is important. So I measured it. Instead of 1200 NC lumen on the declaration, it's about 688 to 700 answer lumen. And from 4 meters, the screen size is 100 inch. I think it's kind of like a max size, and you don't want to go that way because it's sharper up to 120 or 130. If you go above, it loses the sharpness, and you're going to see it in the dedicated sharpness section, but performs quite good, better than I expected. In terms of using with the gimbal, because you want to use it with gimbal if you want to place it on a ground level, if you don't have a dedicated bookshelf or a stand like a custom height adjustable stand, because when you do have those, you're going to project straight. But when you don't have those, this projectors doesn't have offset, so half goes up, half goes down, and I have explained it in a throwing angle of the projectors dedicated guide video, so you can go back and understand. And I've created a gimbal, why gimbals are useful, and why in this case quite useful for Mozart One. There will be another dedicated video for that. Other than that, what I can tell you about Mozart One Pro 2025. Positives and negatives in the beginning. It's a tough video to make because I need to make every test and then just fire to you. So Mozart One Pro 2025 has positives and negatives like every device does. But when I talk about it, you're going to see the specs on the screen. First of all, this device has 10 milliseconds latency on the gaming mode. And when you do have the gaming mode on, you should kill the keystone effect to achieve the 10 milliseconds. And with that way, you're going to have the best picture possible. And you're going to see some game footage, don't worry. I will show you through YouTube, but I've used it with the my console, but right now it's in the studio, so we're going to shoot it in the studio but test it with the consoles and of course with the mini PC that I got here. So 10 milliseconds, it's a great way to play games. It's a positive if you have the gaming mode on and if you have gaming device, any device, console, mini PC, regular PC, whatever. MEMC has different settings of process, so having a MEMC has a plus when it comes down to the smoothing videos, additional frames, and creating effect. 4K playback from YouTube is another plus of this device. You are having a dongle built inside, 4K dongle. Android license, L1 certificate, another plus. Optional gimbal, as you see here, it just adds a lot of value to the Wanbo Mozart One Pro 2025 edition, and probably it works with the other Mozart models too. If you have Mozart, I guess you should be considering this gimbal. Really adds a lot of value to the device, and it really looks pretty awesome if you ask me. Like with the device attached on, it gives a lot of weight, and also you can put it on a literally ground and work your way, but it's on my dedicated video. I talk about in that video definitely about gimbals and how they are useful or how they could hurt your picture quality depending on the projector that you got. Other than that, auto focus, auto keystone correction, and obstacle avoidance, all the things are positive to have since you are using a casual device. 20 watts of speaker, I got my detailed test. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it around the corners. It will be a related video, and in the description you can find it. 20 watts of speaker, you can call it like a $50 to $75 dedicated price for a dedicated Bluetooth speaker if you want to buy, minimum price, and I'm talking about. If you want to buy a good Bluetooth 20 watt speaker, you will probably pay minimum like $60 to $70. So you must drop the price because calculating the built-in speaker quality. Other than that, when they pull out the power supply as an adapter, it also increases probably the internal cavity and also reduces the internal heat creation. So that makes this device a silent device. 32 decibel on the declaration of Wanbo, and my measurement is the same on the top of the device. And you're going to see it in the detailed section like a close-up slow motion video that I've shot inside of the studio. When you are from 50 to 70 centimeter away, the measurement goes down about 29 decibels, which means you can't hear it if you just click 2 times to the audio. Maybe 1 or 2 levels of the audio is even enough to deleting the sound of this device. You can't hear it when you're playing something. Unless you don't play anything, you just look at a dead silent stuff like this. it doesn't make sense to me. Other than that, 2000 to 1 contrast ratio really makes sense, and it's way better than majority of bulb projectors out there, entry-level bulb projectors I'm talking about, and it has quite a bit of build quality. So what about the negatives? Like literally everybody wonders about negatives, because negatives really makes a reviewer separated from the others, because everybody reviews, everybody talk about good stuff. What about the bad stuff? There should be bad stuff because of this price range, and there is. But is it going to be bothering you? Let's dive to in this. Negatives. Brightness uniformity is not perfect, like we all expect from this price range, but it's about 60%-ish. So it's not a bad stuff. Around the corners, you're going to see a little bit of vignetting. That's normal up to $500 level. You probably must go about $700 and plus price levels in order for you to get rid of that. For this price level, in the discount time, $399, you must expect and accept some of the stuff as a giveaway, like takeaway and giveaway. And other than that, offset is 0. It's kind of like a thing that I care, but normally if you got the gimbal, you don't have nothing to worry about. But if you don't buy the gimbal, you have to place it somewhere high. And I made a dedicated video because of the throwing angle of this, or 0 offset like this. Bottom is flat, going up. This is the 100 offset. And this is the 0 offset. Half of the image goes down, half up. Let me just show you in real life how it reacts to explain positive and the negative. Normally, if I project straight, as you can see, the maybe 10 to 20% of the image is going onto the floor. And for that, I need to raise the projector in order to keep it straight projecting as possible. But when you got the gimbal, you don't have nothing to worry about. As you can see, I moved it and it automatically focuses, keystone, and if there's an obstacle, it even shrinks the image into the position. So right now it works perfectly. So it's kind of like a no negative. If you don't, if you have the gimbal, you don't have nothing to worry about. But if you don't have the gimbal, you might want to put it higher with a stand, or you might want to find yourself a good bookshelf. That's not a negative, but I need to be picky because people want to learn most. And don't worry, you're going to see compared to TV, I'm going to open up the TV, shrink the size of this, and with the ambient light or not. Other than that, what's another negative? Let's talk about this. Maximum shot size for me, screen size that you can achieve is this, 120. My best size recommendation for Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro 2025. And it's similar to regular Mozart 1 that I reviewed a long time ago. So up to 120, you're going to get the best picture sharpness. Until the 130, you can go. Above that, you're going to get softer, but you got to go back and you might not care that, or you can digitally adjust the sharpness the way you want it, and you're going to see it in the full sharpness close-up section, and I'm going to give you details there. Other than that, its price is in the discount time, and if you use the additional discount coupon code in the channel, in the description, or in the comment section, you're going to get a better price. It's about probably additional $20-$25 with the discount, so you're going to get it for $375-ish. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me for the money of this device, but without the gimbal. Don't worry. So gimbal is additional is, if I remember correctly, you can check the prices. I don't remember every price, but basically you are getting, without the discount, $499. Okay, I'm not focused on the discount money only. You're getting the closer section of cheaper bulb projectors. So it's kind of like a tip, and also the thing that you should be knowing. You might want to consider your choice going bulb or this. This has a lot more contrast than probably any bulb budget projector. So if you are caring about black levels, contrast, and better picture quality in general, I'm not talking about sharpness and bigger size, because bulb projectors, some of them has brighter image and sharper image quality, but you can go bigger with them. But if you're going to use it in home, This is not totally a negative, win-win. So I'm going to probably create whole another tutorial and bulb versus LED budget-friendly projectors, which one is sharper, which one has more depth in the picture. But in general use scenario, you focus on the contrast. And if you're going to play games and watching movies, if you don't want to spend additional money to the ALR screen, contrast is more important than additional brightness or some of the sharpness that you might not need, because if you stick 120 and below size, you're okay, far more than okay. Other than that, outside adapter could be negative for some people, it could be positive for some, and it really decreases the heat built in internally, but it's also making difficult to put it on places like a reverse mount on a ceiling. You gotta place the power brick somewhere, you gotta hide it. I personally love the cables, direct connections, but adapters has their positives and negatives. You can write in the description which one you prefer. Like the X2 Max, I love it because it's small and also it just runs with a cable, built-in power supply, but it's also reducing the fan noise level. So win-win, which one you pick, you can write in the description. You can write in the comment section below. With the gimbal, it's kind of like getting heavier. Without the gimbal, 3.3, 3.4 kilos, you can check that out. But with the gimbal, it really feels heavy. So if you're not going to move it around, you might like the gimbal. But if you're going to move it from one place to another, it's not a portable projector anymore once you connect that gimbal. But since it's power efficient, okay, it's probably spending around 130 watt-ish power. Instead, its full potential power supply delivers 180, which means it's a secure power supply. It's not going to heat because it's overpowered. Consider the projector. You got a better power supply than the projector's needs. So that means it's going to run low percentage and it's not going to get heated. That's another plus. And also low power consumption is compared to bulb projectors like 300, 350, maybe above. And power consumption, it's another plus. So you got negatives and positives in the screen while you're watching. So you got to decide between these things. And lastly, who is this projector for? Well, it's an all-in-one device. So if you're looking for an all-in-one device, you can consider the Mozart One Pro 2025. It's up to 120 inch. So if you want to go big, X5 Pro could go 140 inch-ish. T2 Ultra could go bigger, but doesn't have the brightness to back it up. But if you're going to use it in a pitch black room, well, you might consider the T2 Ultra or Wally 1. Watch my reviews, how big they can go. But above 130, Mozart One, like the previous models of Mozart One Pro, 2025 is kind of like the similar optical best picture 120 up to 130. After that, you're going to get soft. And that might be a choosing thing. Who is this projector? Kind of like a stuff. And dusty environment, it has a sealed optics. So if you're living in a dusty environment, you might want to, direct yourself from X5 Pro to Mozart One Pro 2025 with a sealed optical element. Other than that, I think you're going to get a lot more contrast compared to bulb projectors. So it's up to you. Right now, I've finished my entire conclusion, my measurement, my latency test, and my size and explanations. MEMC is a thing that you can adjust with different levels. This video is 2.7K 60p, so you can check with different videos. I'm going to open up dedicated picture quality section, gameplay, and fast moving objects. So you can check MEMC, does it make a thing? Dedicated section there will be. So there will be dedicated section for each one of the stuff. You're going to see it versus TV, without the TV, with the TV. Can it match a TV in a certain size? Can you use it in a lit environment, dark environment? But be aware, right now there's a video light hitting this way and it lights the room. And even in this condition, this is a quite good picture. So I'm going to close the video light. As always, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and write in the comment section below and help this channel to grow by any means if you can. Share the videos if you like. So if you learn anything, as always, I'm going to finish the video, this section, but this video won't be finished until the next video. Bye from Home Cinema and Tech Review, and hoşça kalın from Türkiye, Istanbul. The sections will be pointed with timelines so you can go from one to another. With dedicated close-ups, you're going to see the physical of the Mozart One Pro 2025, and you're going to learn everything about it. Since I'm keeping some of the projectors, you can ask your questions if I haven't answered anything. One last thing, you're going to see the USB playback capabilities, and it can play from USB drive. You're going to see it in the dedicated section. Don't worry, you're going to learn everything there is to be learned about this. You already heard the positives and negatives. For me, it doesn't have too much of a negativity. The only thing, I love to use it with gimbal, and if you can have the budget, buy the gimbal. Without the gimbal, you gotta place it high for the best picture quality, or getting it higher, it's a little difficult with the books and stuff. So gimbal really adds a lot of value to this device. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you with the rest of the video so you can learn every bit of things about Mozart One Pro 2025. Bye. This section is shot with auto exposure and auto white balance. The thing that I want you to see, I'm going to go back of the Mozart One Pro 2025 right here, and I'm going to get close to the projector. Right now, the signal coming through the HDMI cable from the GMK Tech M7 Pro Mini PC. The reason that I'm shooting this with a PC, I'm going to show you the sharpness around the corners. This is a 120-inch image, and everything looks tack sharp if you ask me, compared to price and the size of the sensor of this device. And as you can see around the corners, I can read everything. By the way, this is an auto keystone corrected image, so that's another plus from Mozart One Pro. Let me just get close to this side, okay? As you can see, my response time test thumbnail is open, and I think it's pretty sharp. We can see every bit of pixels. Of course, when you go to corner, we have a lot of keystoning too, like probably 10 to 20%. Still, it doesn't bother when you're watching from away. These two arrows is little less sharp compared to the text when you come to the middle part of the image. And that's not, of course, a coincidence, because the optically best part is most of the time in the middle. But as you can see, the search is good enough, but the corner, this icon is softer. Like I said, we are using a keystone. This is not a keystone resetted image. We are sending the signal with an angle, but still, this is a 120-inch image. And what I'm going to do, okay, from here, I'm going to put it on a table, and I'm going to go little bit to you with the projector and create about, let's just say, let's take a look. And again, I'm going to walk. This is about, I guess, roughly 135 to 40 inch. We are going above, and I'm going to walk into the front. And still, we're not losing the sharpness around the corners. But this corner gets a little bit softer compared to the first section. And as you can see, we are getting pretty good text sharpness overall. But around the corner, just a little bit lost since we are correcting the image again. But every bit of things can easily be readable. So how much, let me just walk around again. I'm going to fixate the camera to the tripod, and I'm going to do something like I always do, something crazy, something normally you don't do with a projector of this budget. So I have Optoma UHZ35 here. It's a projector that I need to test for another channel. And I guess I need to, take this projector stand, make it even further for you. So let's take it even further. So right now, obstacle avoidance is going to take place, but I don't want it that much. And I'm trying to avoid the obstacles with my own way. And this is a 150-inch scale. Let me just get the camera. This is a 150-inch scale, and normally I don't recommend this size with the projectors like this, but I want you to see whether you can reach it or not. As you can see, the softness has begun to the text. Let me just show you up close. You can see the softness around the corners, and camera is trying to capture as best as it can, but you can clearly see even in the middle, you got quite a bit of shifted things because 150 is a limit that you don't want to test with this device. Like the edge of the T is half gone to the white. And of course, this is quite soft. This is quite soft on the top, and the icons are no longer sharpened like it used to at a scale of 120, 130. As you can see, sign-in is also going softer, but still, the bigger things are pixel-based, quite good, if you ask me, far more than enough. But when you go around this corner, well, it's better than I was expecting. Still, I could read the text. So, would you like it? Well, if you got a distance, if you're going to watch it from a distance, it's not going to hurt you. But again, it's not going to be ideal if you're going to watch it from like 3 to 4 meters, like me. In general home use, I'm going to use it for 3 to 4 meters. And I don't recommend this close. So let me just get the mouse from the PC. I want to skip this commercial because it's just keep going and going. It's bothering me. So I'm going to get back. The video is going to play. I'm seeing a lot more contrast than you because camera is trying to push up the brightness. And this is the level that you're going to have if you go big. So what if you go small? This section is getting longer, I know, but what if you go small? Since the TV is already on, I want you to see what happens if you go small. So I'm going to, from PC, since we're playing 4K, I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to open up the TV in a second, but before that, I want to go close to the wall. And yeah, for a small room, kids room, what if you want to place it in a size of like 65, like a TV size? Just a little bit. Let's measure the size of the screen in advance. Yes, right about the 65-inch TV. Wow, I am getting better at this. So this is the 65-inch, okay? And I'm going to take the camera. And this is the level of detail that you see. For easy to show you the level of detail, I think I need to again go from here to PC menu to show you. Since this is an auto expose, everything is tech sharp. Everything is tech sharp. Just a little bit softness around here, which I wasn't expecting, but still everything is tech sharp. I can see everything. But what I'm going to do, whether you can use it in a lit environment or not. So, again, I'm going to connect the camera to the tripod. These are taking a longer time than you think. Again, this is the studio lights on, and it's shot in auto exposure mode. I want to make clear why I shoot auto exposure. Your eyes are going to adjust the amount of light that you got into the room or on from the TV and the projector. So that's why if you got a setup, it doesn't matter if it's a TV or a projector, your eyes adjust to the total brightness, max brightness, and then according to pupil like that, and you're going to have a better picture quality with your eyes HDR capability. And see, great gift of God. So you are seeing right now a 65-inch TV, 65-inch projector. And let me just go behind the camera. This is a lit environment, no gimmick. I think picture looks a little smaller to you. Let's just, because the camera is shooting wide angle, I think it's going to look a little bit smaller than it actually is because I am shooting, like I told you, Yes, it's going to make the correction. While that happens, I'm going to get closer. So this is the level of pictures side by side. I think you get the idea. For decent level of TV price, and it's firing to this wall and killing the contrast of the projector, but still both of them are acting quite similar at the scale of 35% of this TV, which means an entry level or a QNET or LED TV level of brightness. So if you want to buy an, again, low level of brightness TV, think again. You can go do the similar stuff without an ALR, additional ALR, and you're going to be more free with a projector itself. And you're going to pull it off without any problem. So I think this section gave you enough of an information about sharpness, picture quality, side by side with a TV. Of course, it can't match 1000 nits of this TV's full potential, which means 4 or 5 times expensive TV. It's a gaming TV, it's a high-end TV, still not a bad TV in 2025. It's one of the best QNET TVs of LG, a QNET 816RE, still not a bad TV in 2025, but it was one of the best in 2023, if I remember correctly. So, this section is over. Welcome to the picture settings of Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro. I've made a dedicated video how you can create better picture with your projector setup based on Wanbo X5 Pro, but it's kind of like a overall guide for LED and budget-friendly projectors. You must watch that video because I'm not going to get into the detail. By the way, this section is auto exposed and auto white color. So there will be shifts along the line, but reason that I'm doing, I want you to see the whites as much as possible and the picture in its automatic adjusted like our eyes. But when you fast forward, you might see some adjustments. So don't focus on that. Just want to make clear, when you hit the projector icon on the remote control, you got image projection. When you hit it, picture focusing, auto keystone, 4-point keystone correction, 4-sided trapezoid settings, which means we can bend the image. You already know if you watch the early videos. Zoom in and out, and keystone correction reset. Zoom in and out is important for some people, so I'm going to go in, all the way in, I'm going. So from 120, I guess this is about 30 inches, so it's doing its thing. But when you do digital zoom, of course, you're losing the resolution. I would probably create another guide for that because a lot of people are keystone. And when you hit that button, keystone automatically adjusts the focus and keystone and image correction like this. So 4-point keystone correction, when you hit it, you can skew it by the corners, but I'm just going to show you, I have to reset it. This is the edge, and this is the way that I can go. Well, I can go a lot, right? So I'm going to hit the icon of reset, the user icon, and of course, I gotta hit the auto keystone to make the image in a logical rectangle size, like 16 by 9 cinematic radio. So this is simple as it is, and you can reset it anytime. When you hit back, you got the image mode. So this is where things could be adjustable. Color temperature, standard, cold, warm, and customize. You can customize RGB like 3 settings. So comes default as a 50-50. So I normally use standard, don't push things too much. But if you like adjustment, if you got a color graded wall, like a light colors, like light blue, light gray, light pink, light green sort of stuff, and if you want to use the wall, you might compensate for that color. So again, I'm hitting the button, going to the image. So the color temperature is adjustable. MEMC is right now is on high. What I'm going to do is PC mode, standard, bright mode, soft mode, and custom mode. I've explained early with the X5 Pro, and it's similar. When you go to the bright mode, let me just show you. When I hit it, some of the highlights and details are lost, but the brightness increases. So amount of brightness that you see in the screen, in the bright mode, it gives about 700 lux. But normal standard mode, it gives around 480-ish, I guess. So default mode is far more than enough, and you're getting a better dynamic range. And when you go soft, you will get the most details, but if you can count it as a soft, like a cinema mode for majority of projectors. And when you hit standard, things don't change extremely much, but when you go bright mode, you see the color difference on the clouds. I'm getting back. So we're getting a lot of detail. So you must watch my toning adjusting video. It will be in the description around the corners in the end of the video to adjust all these things like sharpness, hue, and saturation and brightness, kind of like a finding your spots. But my settings, like probably added sharpness, a little bit saturation to make things pop out. And you can even push the sharpness more if you like, if you're going to go bigger than 120, if you need it. But ideal, like I said, probably in the beginning, I don't want to repeat myself, I wouldn't go too much of a 130 and above, because it's a full HD projector and it has optical limitations. Like above 130, it's getting softer and softer. 150 could be usable far distance if you push the sharpness 100%. But again, would I like to use it? No. For that, you got to spend 2 times more money, in my opinion, at least $500 to $700 just for the projector, not even adding a gimbal and smart functions. And that's my opinion. That is nothing to do with just with this projector, just my guys. So if you go to the advanced settings, projection mode, front, back, rear, ceiling mount and stuff, so you can change all this. People ask, you can mount it on a ceiling, front table, rear table, front ceiling, rear ceiling. You got everything. Power on, autofocus, autofocus with move. When you move it, it will refocus, and it is also power on autofocus. When you power it on, it makes the focus. But if you're going to put it on a fixed place, so you might want to close this up. Power on, automatic correction. If you're going to place it and leave it as it is, then I guess you can turn some things off and on. Auto keystone with move, again. Automatic screen alignment. If you got a screen, you can adjust to it. It will automatically find the screen and fixate it to it, like a fixed screen, ALR screen. But like I said, for this level of brightness, I wouldn't recommend too much of an ALR. In a dark room, it could adjust a little bit, but in a lit room, you got to overcome the ambient light, and it will really depend on your ambient light solution. So for this level of price category of devices, I don't recommend ALR settings. I know some people try to use them, but I don't recommend it. Use a white wall, use a white sheet, get the brightest picture possible with the high dynamic settings, like maybe lower on the brightness settings. Intelligent optical avoidance, if you got some target in around an object, you can on and off. I don't like it too much because when you do it, it just squeezes and getting a smaller image. So that's why I close it most of the time. Obstacle avoidance, if you got kids got in front of the screen, you can open it up. User calibration guide and local upgrade and restore factory settings. These are the settings that you're going to get. And other than that, that's about it. Gaming mode is in the input mode. If you're going to connect something, as you can see, I can put the gaming mode on from HDMI source. This is Android built-in, so nothing is working through the HDMI. Boot signal, it's right now on Android TV, but you can go to the HDMI source if you're going to connect your gaming console and just use it with the console, not with the smart. You can choose that. And HDMI control is right now device auto power off. If you close the HDMI device like an Xbox or something like a Blu-ray, when you close that, this will also close together. And projector auto power on, and that might be a good thing if you like, but most of the time I open the HDMI control, but that's about it. And power, I do it manually because when you close the console, you might not want to close the projector. You might, continue watching stuff. So that's about it. So signal input, ATV, Android TV, HDMI, and USB. So that's about it. This section just showed you the picture quality settings, but in order for you to understand the fully concept, I guess you need to look out for basically my X5 based video. Let me just show you the video thumbnail. So if you don't know. So from the videos, we're going to go a long way. We got a lot of videos, as you can see, guides. So channel is also focused on the guides. For example, this is a best contrast without ALR. So if you don't want to buy an ALR, you can do the stuff that I teach you for free, or you turn any projector to a TV in a certain level if you got the brightness enough. This is a guide. So ceiling reverse mounted with an USD projector screen and stuff. So you will have versus TV kind of like guides. We got a lot of guides in the channel. So this is my setup, by the way, my dream setup at home. Thankfully, I am using it. So how to tone budget projector total guide. This video is 15 minutes and I did every tunability settings of the Wanbo X5 Pro. If you watch it, you can tune your Wanbo Mozart 1 or any Wanbo for that matter. You're going to a lot of stuff and you can apply the similar stuff for many similar single LED projectors. So this section is over. This is dedicated side-by-side section, 120-inch versus 65-inch TV. And it's a bit of extremely lit environment. Normally, I don't watch my TV this level. This is the studio level of brightness. 2 layers of lights are on right now. Probably about, let's just say 400 watts of lights in general calculation. So TV is running about 35%, which means 350 ANSI lumen or lux, because we can't measure it just like a projector. But I'm going to close the lights. You're going to have a better idea. But screen size of projector is 4 times bigger in general than the TV. So once you close the lights, you are actually seeing quite a bit of good picture. And I haven't even shrink the image. And in a darkroom setup, normally TV's brightness is far more than enough. Somewhat bothering for some people. So when I move the projector forward, okay, you're going to see the brightness increase on the projector screen. Let me just show you. Let me just go a little bit forward. This is, I guess, it's going to make its corrections from 120. Let me just show you what's the size difference. In general, 224. This is right 100-inch size. And I'm going to go backside of the camera and we're going to compare it. Well, from the back of the camera, I can say, like what I see, the images are getting very, very close. So in a 100-inch scale, you're really matching this. By the way, if you're wondering why I measured the TV in 350 nits, the reason behind it, cheaper VA panel big TVs like 65, 75, 85, people are buying most of the time comparing with projectors, tendency to have 350, 450 up top, 500 nits of brightness. That is a peak brightness if you ask me. So in general, when they play HDR, their brightness is getting lower. So that's why I switched to 350 nits of a brightness in order for you to see it in a budget-friendly TV brightness. So when you are comparing a projector to a TV, you might reconsider TV's brightness and TV's size, because TV is still 65-inch and this is 100-inch scale, still extremely big than a TV. Let me just go even smaller, okay? So I'm moving forward. It's going to do its thing. By the way, I need to remember the size of the TV. TV is 146-ish centimeters in width, and this is about 185. Still a lot bigger than the TV. So it's about probably 80 inches, 80, 85 inches of a TV. And it is starting to pass the decent TV level. And when you go the same level, you're going to, of course, beat the TV. But you can't do in a matter of seconds, this with any TV. Okay, I'm getting back to the projector. I'm getting it back, far back, and that's about it. So it's making its thing. Correction, the image is 120 plus size. You can't beat it with a TV. And by the way, the price of the TV is 4 or 5 times more than the Mozart One Pro 2025. You might want to reconsider if you're going to buy a TV for a kid's room or a second room. If you're going to go on a budget-friendly TV, you might consider a projector like I always do as a second device. This section is over. In this section of the video, everybody asks about a USB drive playable capabilities. People have offline files, and I do too. So I suggest, first of all, don't connect a big hard drive to any Android device like a TCL TV, Android TV, Google TV, or a projector. Even Valerian, with the highest price, can perform differently depending on your drive fullness, because once you have entire drive filled with movies, it's kind of like difficult to index the files, and also Google has some sort of updates, and probably I will create another video about this. The formats like exFAT or maybe NTFS is sometimes getting difficult for this device. So if you FAT32, then you're not going to be able to watch big 4K videos. So I've installed the File Manager Plus to this device. The Kingston USB drive is what I got, 128 gigabytes, but right now it sees 124. And in this USB drive, I got the Final Destination Bloodlines. This is a downloaded movie, but basically I purchase every movie that I watch, whether I watch it digitally in advance and then buy it later on, or I buy just a Blu-ray and watch it as it is because I have a Blu-ray archive. I will create a video about this. As you can see, we can see the movie. Because of the copyright, I'm not going to play it long. So this is a full HD movie. Let's play it. It sees the movie and it plays it without any problem. Let me just take the movie a little bit forward, I guess. And yep, I'm hitting the back button. I don't want any copyright problem, so I'm going to go directly non-copyright demos. These are 4K 60 FPS demos. Probably majority of you will wonder, is it going to be able to play a 4K 60p HDR MKV files, because those are the ones that you probably download to show off or watch the highest quality. So let's go OLED Daydream demo. And from here, I can choose an app, which my app is VLC. I'm going to do always because I use VLC or MX Player most of the time. And let's see if it's going to be able to play the MK wave file. Well, it's loading. It's doing its thing. We are waiting. And it plays. This is a HDR 60p video, and it really plays quite well, if you ask me, with every bit of toning, and the picture is looking great. You're getting what I'm seeing with an auto exposure, so this is a good picture. 120-inch-ish scale right now, and really sharp. So you can download 4K videos and watch them. Like a Sony demo, this is a Bravia demo, I guess. And taking a little bit more time than probably your smartphone, but that's obvious. Like, these are not powerful as a latest iPhone or the most advanced stuff in the world, like a latest Android device. But we are getting the great picture, great sharpness, great contrast, and we are not running this through YouTube. We are running it through VLC player. I guess this makes sense. People ask that, can you do it? And yes, you can. I think this section is covering that up. Since you got the Google Play, you can download anything, like an apps, browsers, like MX Player, like I do, and some of the codecs, if you would like to have, like Plex server, you can connect. You can do nearly everything since you got a license of Google Play and stuff. So I'm not going to dive deep. I've just showed you from a couple of videos, But when you fill your drive with a lot of movies, then any Android device could suck on indexing, or it will take some time to index. If you want to use like a Kodi style thing, that you want to Kodi to index everything, it will take more time. Just give that device a time a little bit. So this section is over. In this section of the video, I want you to see MEMC difference. So we are playing a 4K YouTube video, as you can see internally. And what I'm going to do from MEMC high, I'm going to go off. And I'm going to show you as quick as possible. I need to probably create another tutorial. So I'm going to play this video. This is a Forza Horizon 5 video, I suppose, gameplay. So I'm going to hit play. So focus on not the car, but environment, because the environment creates the jaggedness effect. Look around when I do the off or high. Look around you. So I'm going to open it up, high and off. In off mode, you can clearly feel trees and ambient is jagged, and on the high mode, some sort of smoothness happening. You can feel it, but you can't exactly tell it. So I need to probably choose different videos, create a playlist about this, but really adding the MEMC makes a little bit of difference to everything. I can similarly show something. I've chosen another video and from the channel, again from the playlist. Let's go from here. You can go for this, Home Cinema and Tech Review playlists. And from here, I guess we can do something like Cyberpunk, Night Drive. Sorry for the commercials, but since it's 5 seconds, we can skip this out. So, again, we're going to do the similar stuff, but normally we need a sliding slow shot or intro shot. But again, in any slow-paced or different FPS level shots, it could work its way around. And right now it's off, a little bit of jaggedness, and on. Not extremely detailed difference, but let's go with off because the guy is about to drive a car. We got to look around. Just wait a while. Okay. And we are started. My connection is not good. Right now it's off. Feels a little jagged. Little bit. Not smooth enough. So I'm going to hit high. I can clearly feel that difference, but I can't tell if you can see it through the 60p video footage. So go back to off, look around the buildings, little bit of jaggedness. By the way, it's about the internet connection in the room right now. Little bit of jaggedness. It could be also about the gaming card of the probably person, but when I hit high, I can tell this is a smoother picture. So I hope this section helps. Like literally, I need your recommendation videos to test and show you. I might create another video with slow motion sections to show it to you. This is an effect really bothers people, and creating a smoother process, that's always nice to have if you got MEMC settings. But through the time, through the content, through the source that you're playing, you might want to skip all these things and close them depending on your source. If your source is better to handle the image processing, you might want to give it a shot to let everything go away. So this section is over. Thanks for watching this section, and probably video will continue. In this section of the video, I'm going to give you the tip of how you can get it faster in one single action. But you must watch my how to get your projector faster video in order to understand this topic entirely. But we're going to look at the visual settings. When you hit settings, hit all settings. You can do it by the remote. And from here, you got the display and sound. HDMI CEC if you want to check things out through the HDMI, the other devices capabilities and stuff. And other than that, advanced settings, allow the game mode is right now on. Dynamic range, a color format. As you can see, dynamic range is HDR, always HDR. So when you hit it, you can do it HDR, SDR, and Dolby Vision is unsupported. That's clear. Match content dynamic range right now, always HDR or adaptive HDR, depending on your needs, of course. So other than that, you got the color format of right now. It's coming by the default. I haven't changed anything. 10-bit 420. but you can go for 420 8-bit or 12 bits if you like 421, but it's up to you. RGB, again, 8-bit is below. 444 8-bit could be an option if you desire. Resolution. This is the stuff I think the majority of people are skipping out. You don't need a 4K Android resolution because device is pixel resolution in real life, not a 4K. And that's not going to change anything about this. You're just going to see sharper text in the menu right here. Do you need it? I don't think so, because it doesn't make too much of a difference in the menu, in the text. But what it does, it slows down the hardware internally. So from here, I'm going to go 180p 60 Hz. The reason that I do, I'm not going to lose anything. I just dropped down the resolution to Full HD, which device is actually Full HD. I'm just lowering the resolution for the dongle to work faster. And as you can see, menus are getting faster already. Take a look at the speed that I move. So this is the best trick that I can give you as an advice, but you must watch my other videos to learn more about how you can get your projector if you don't have this model. So from here, I wanted to show you that we haven't lost anything at all. This is the YouTube, right? And let's see what's playing right now. And from here, YouTube menu, as you can see, I got the Full HD. From here, I can go 4K. I can play any 4K footage inside of a Full HD menu, and that's not going to be the big problem because I am giving the full details of the video, and this is a great video. And the device will be more relaxed because it's not going to be trying to push 4K menu every time I push back at the home button, and I don't lose anything on the video side. And in reality, this device is a Full HD projector, so you're not downsizing anything. You're not downgrading. I think they should have been doing this in launching of the device. If they are listening, they should be doing this when you got the device as it is. So I just want to make clear that you understand the topic, and this section is over. I've showed you the HDMI menu details and also resolution settings, how you can get it faster. The section is over. In this section of the video, I want you to understand how much the gimbal is useful for Mozart 1 Pro or Mozart 1 series in general, because it has like a 7-degree, I suppose, a small leg underneath. I can understand if you don't want to spend the budget for a stand, and just buy it as it is and take a bookshelf and place it on and leave it there as it is. And that's nothing abnormal, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the projector in the ground mode. But before that, I want to make it flat. This is the flat settings, and the third of the image, 30% roughly of the image, is going to be on the floor. So this can create a solution if you're going to put it on a short leg table. So when I move it up high, everything will be automatically done. You've seen it in the video. The image gets bigger because of the obstacle avoidance. Just clear the ground level and it will automatically fit. And the sharpness is good. Even though you're digitally skewing the image, corner sharpness are pretty good. I'm going to talk about when this scenario could fail on your use case. So think about that. So I can put it on the ground, okay, without doing anything. Right now, the projector is on the ground, literally. So when I put it on the ground, this is the flat looking image. As you can see, half of the image is gone right now. So you can't use the projector like this, but what you can do is project it to a proper eye level, and optically, as you can see, it's distorted. I know it's not the ideal way to use it, but you can place it on any ground and use the projector. And I'm not even talking about rotating the projector to the ceiling fire, because you can do it, you can lay it on the ground, but I won't do it on the studio. So the logic of the gimbal really creates a solution for a big problem. Let me just get in front of the camera when the lights are on, because this is going to be a general guide of probably gimbals in a dedicated video. But once you have such a solution, that makes you can take the projector any room in any case scenario and you can place it. But if you don't have the gimbal, you can't do that. But when this fails, this is the question. When this setup fails or could fail in gaming, because when gaming, you need to cancel the keystone effect to get the 10 millisecond latency from this device, and it deserves for gamers. So when you want to do that, you got to be straight and put the projector up high to get the projected right straight up. Because when you cancel the keystone, the image will be, shifted. So if you don't want that to happen, and if you're a gamer, then you might buy a proper long stand, high level stand, or create a bookshelf style. At least you can see something like this, maybe higher table, to create a higher ground for the projector, to not to use the keystone effect. But you got to know it. If you're not a gamer, this gimbal is ideal in any case study, any scenario, because you can adjust it to your eye level. The only time that you might reconsider not buying the gimbal and not spending that budget would be probably you're not a gamer. You're a gamer and you want to place the projector on a flat surface and you want to leave it as it is, and you're not going to be wasting, or you're wasting your time to placing one from another, or you're going to place it on the ceiling. You're going to use something different than this feet or a gimbal design. I think gimbal really makes a big difference of the use case scenario of this style projectors in general. So that's why I love the T2 Max and Wally 1. Gimbal really makes a difference. That's why everybody is going toward the gimbal of mini projectors, or at least even the high-end projectors are trying to give the gimbal options, like catching from the sides and creating a gimbal effect just like this. So there will be another tutorial in the guide video in the channel. So this section is over just to give you a glimpse of why you might want to buy the gimbal or why to avoid it if you don't need it. It's going to be a first for me. I'm going to open box Wanbo Mozart 1 2025, and this section will be the most interesting part because I'm going to use this inside of a review. So this is 2025 version, and I'm trying to be fast as I can because I have to also open up the box content of that stand they've sent so far. So we got a power brick. I'm holding the projector. We got a power cable for it. We got a remote control for it, and the box is gone. So I'm trying to be fast. Sorry for that. And this is the most exciting part for me. So this is kind of like dark blue, denim blue, kind of like setup. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the projector like this and take this box, since it's containing the stand that probably we're going to have to install it on and use it as a gimbal, because I think the gimbals are quite useful stuff. And that's I'm trying to do as fast as I can using the knife in 3 minutes. By the way, we're going to take a deep dive onto, different settings. Again, I shouldn't have closed the knife. So they boxed it very well. So same color, thankfully. Last time it was different color, but now it's black or darker blue. So we're going to take this out and take this out. The gimbal appears. So as you can see, the entire box content, gimbal is extremely solid and heavy because this is a heavy projector, and I think it's going to probably move, very sturdy, and this feels like a rock solid. Underneath we got huge silicone base. So I will finish the installation later on in the full review. We got a user manual for this. So basically you can also see it in the full size camera. So as you can see, we got full HD logo, autofocus on the front, smart projector, Wanbo smart projector, Wanbo acoustics on this side, which you know by now from my early standard Wanbo Mozart 1 review. We got 2 speakers and they're looking great. If you ask me, HD input, earbud headphone output, USB and DC input. This time from the regular device that I reviewed, it was the power of the Wanbo Mozart 1 logo right now. It was the power input. Now we got power adapter. So this is a different device entirely, and we have to look into the depth of the device. So if you are wondering the full review, we are getting closest to the end section. 19 volts and 947 amp, about 180 watt of power supply and cable, and standard licensed Google TV remote control that we used to. I would have liked to see same color with it, but hey, this section is over. I wanted to make a dedicated section for physical qualities instead of just open box, so we're going to continue a little bit. The power brick is big, like a professional level. If you've seen a laptops, like an Asus or maybe MSI or maybe some other brand uses a high-end CPU and GPU combination. So this is a real power supply, and it says 180 on the top. I don't know if you can see it, but when I move it, you can clearly see it. So the advantage, I'm going to talk about it soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the stand. This is basically pretty solid stand, and we have to install by the screws at the bottom. So we got 4 screws, I guess, and how we are going to able to install it, and probably we're going to unscrew these and get the screw holes, but from the bottom, and we're going to see the model name WPB84. So we got 19 volts and 9.47 amps, and of course you're seeing some details, and with 7-degree, which we love by the way, current angle adjustment. We already know from Wanbo, this is a power, when it's powered on, this will show you the logo, and on the side you got a Wanbo acoustics, and it really looks and feels like a Bang & Olufsen style, or at least looks like one. But from the one that I've tested, this speakers looks really more powerful than ever. I don't know if you can see it through the camera. I will try to arrange the maybe brightness for you to see. We got DC input. The advantage of DC input and this design is actually for a gimbal purpose, in my opinion. So let me just show you quickly before just adding this on. Side, by the way, side silicons are also holding the projector. And as you can see from the side, I don't know if this side is correct. I need to probably put it reverse. So this should be probably the right angle, because it needs to balance through, I suppose. So I will check, double check, but basically right now, if you rotate it through the roof or through the ceiling, if you had a power cable like this, it will be probably squeezing itself. The design change also has an advantage for the cable, so you got a power cable on the top. But if you ask me, that's another disadvantage and advantage in the same time, because having a power brick, it's more difficult than having just a cable. But I think they have better speaker and better built-in stuff, so they don't have any additional space left for a power device. And I am hoping you're going to find out in the full conclusion section. This is, if you're watching this, you're probably very enthusiastic and you came to the last stage of my videos. Most of the time I show the product at the end of the video. So if you're wondering, and if you are here, you probably really want to know all there is to know about this device. So basically, this is the first part for me, but probably around the last part for you. I am guessing this will also decrease the fan noise of the device because you don't have the power brick inside. That's another advantage. So you got like probably a sound advantage and also power cable placement adjustment, but also a negative point as just to use a single cable. So you can buy a longer cable with those setups, but you gotta probably put the power adapter somewhere near to Wanbo Mozart 1 Pro. Yes, we are gaining and we are losing in the same time, but the gimbal and overall look is great. I'm going to finish the installation and screws and use this as it is with the stand. and I will probably do a 360 around so you can really understand how cool this thing really looks. And you're going to probably witness a lot of different stuff in the full review. This section is over. Just before the end of this part, I realized they've sent the screws inside of the box sticked in a pouch like this or a bag like this and sticked inside of the box just in case making a noise and scratching the surface of this. So I really find out later on we got the screws that we need and we got the Allen key that we need. So this really feels like a solid combination. But probably we're going to have to remove those feet, and I'm going to do that in an installation section. You're going to have a close look at things while I do it. In this section, I am sorry to tell you that screwing or unscrewing this part doesn't help too much. So I'm going to have to remove it just using a knife, but trying to be careful about this. This is a sticked placement. So it's kind of like a used sticker inside or 3M, sticky rubbery thing. And I removed the first one. So trying to unscrew doesn't matter in this stage. Just be careful. Don't mess with the device too much. If you want to not to use the gimbal, you don't want to scratch the Wanbo, in my opinion. This is kind of like becoming an installation video for people who wonders how they should be installing. I'm just clearing out the, sticky parts. So take your time. You can fasten up this section if you want to pass it up faster. And we're going to go one by one. I will probably speed this up in the editing. So if you go slow, okay, I'm using a straight style screwdriver from a knife. I think I can take it out with the sticker instead of without the sticker for the first time. So you got a little bit of give it a shake, 1 or 2 places, it's coming out. That doesn't mean it's coming out easy, but it's also not coming out hard. Just push it down so it will be more easier from the first time. Okay, so we got 4 different things underneath, and these silicone parts on the device, it's really helping to hold it. When I hold it like this, I can clearly match it up, and as you can see, I will do a first try. Okay. I will do something that probably will interest in a second to tell you why I am doing what I'm doing. Okay, this is kind of like getting the first hole ready. First is the most difficult one, most of the time. And we are okay. So I can line it up. So there are 2 sides of this attachments. As you can see, this part is kind of like scratchy and this part is kind of like round. So try to use the round version against the metal of the gimbal. If you don't want to scratch the surface of this, you can adjust it by looking at it. You can clearly understand. 2 of the screws will be far more than enough to hold a projector like this. But since we're installing for perfection, we can do it. Like I said, the round surface will be looking at the gimbal. The scratchy, harsh surface will be looking at the screws. Okay, just make sure that you. And there's a spare one probably they've sent. I don't know the purpose of it, but the installation has finished. So you're going to have a 360 look, but before that, just take a look at this beauty. It's installed, and it's really solid, rock solid.